Hello everybody, this is Llodg, and today I'm talking about one of my favorite games and my favorite Sonic game, Sonic Generations. To give you a bit of backstory, I really didn't have too many Sonic games growing up. My next door neighbor had an original Xbox and it had Sonic Heroes on it, and despite me watching it a lot, I don't think I ever really played it except for a couple times. A few years later, he gets Sonic Unleashed for the Wii, and other than that amazing intro cutscene, I remember absolutely nothing about it. A little bit after that, I got Sonic Adventure Rush for the DS, and I was not good at it at all. I remember getting to the Robot Dinosaur boss in that game, but nothing past that. Then, in 2011, there was a new Sonic game coming out, Sonic Generations. However, at the time I didn't have an Xbox 360 or a PS3, and the game wasn't coming out for the Wii. I vividly remember looking up if you could play 360 games on the Wii because I was so desperate to play this game. It took until the end of summer in 2012 until I finally got a 360, but by that time I forgot about the game, and it wasn't until 2015, when I finally remembered the game and how much I wanted it, that I bought it from Best Buy and finally got to play it and absolutely fell in love. The big gimmick of this game is that you're playing as both classic and modern Sonic. Classic Sonic is your traditional 2D Sonic who's short and round and doesn't speak, while modern Sonic is the newer 3D Sonic who is tall and can talk. While they share stages, they each have their own act. Act 1 will always be classic Sonic stages, where they are 2D stages, with Act 2 being modern Sonic stages that are fully 3D but still have some 2D sections. The cool thing about these stages is that they are levels from all the mainline games leading up to Generations, so it's really cool to see levels like Green Hill Zone and Chemical Plant in 3D, when in the original games they were only in 2D. I really preferred to play this game as modern Sonic. I just thought his levels were much better and more fun. I still enjoyed classic Sonic's levels, but they felt less creative, and seeing the 3D Sonic games get their own levels made in 2D just didn't feel as cool as seeing the 2D levels in 3D. Though playing as either Sonic and being able to speed past everything felt so good, as the gameplay for both is incredible. Generations might have my favorite physics in any Sonic game, but maybe that's just because I'm so used to how this game plays. That's not to say I'm good at this game by any means, I still make so many mistakes while playing, like so many that's honestly a little embarrassing. And while I say that the physics are my favorite in any Sonic game, there are times where I feel like Sonic doesn't do what I want him to do, but that could also just be me being bad at the game. This game also got a 3DS release, and despite me having a 3DS around 2011 to 2012, I never played the 3DS version, but maybe I just got it too late to remember the game, because it took me a while to get a 3DS. I do remember looking at gameplay for it and seeing the cutscenes with just images instead of the fully 3D cutscenes like the console ports. I know it has some different levels compared to the console ports, and for that I'm a little sad I never got to play this version. Talking about levels, I genuinely love every level in this game. My absolute favorites are probably Green Hill Zone, Crisis City, Rooftop Run, and of course City Escape. They all have parts where it's fun to run quickly, but they all also still have their own feel. Seaside Hill is also just so cool by having one of the optional paths let you drive a car, and while I don't love to drift in these games, drifting in a car just felt natural. Maybe I should start drifting for better times. Some Sonic games feel like I can just be playing the same level over and over again, but for some reason I feel like Generations handles this amazingly, to where I want to replay the levels over and over again. I mean, I've even gotten S ranks on all of them between my file on the 360 and the Series X. Okay, I actually lied. I love every level except for Planet Wisp. That level is just way too long and slow. I also don't really like the factory aesthetic at all. It starts nice with it being all this bright green grass, but then it's just all this reddish orange. It does have Wisp from colors, which is pretty cool, but they are kind of boring in this level. Also, in the Series X where I recorded this gameplay, I never got Planet Wisp to S tier. I tried to do it and it took me like 15 minutes of trial and error, and in the end I still died and it took too long and couldn't get it. I've done it on the 360 version, but this just shows how much I dislike this level. Especially when I can easily get an S rank on almost all the other levels. I also don't love Sonic Colors like others do, so maybe it's that. But I also played Sonic Colors after this game and didn't like it that much, so maybe it's just built into the game or something. Also, an embarrassing story about the Sky Sanctuary level as Classic Sonic is that when I first played the game, and for way too long of a time, I didn't know how to control these floating orb things, so I just run and go nowhere. I now know exactly how to move them by spin dashing, but I remember getting stuck here for a while. The bosses are also pretty cool, like fighting against the Death Egg robot, and Perfect Chaos was amazing to see in a new Sonic game again. This is my favorite iteration of Perfect Chaos, by the way. I'm not entirely sure why they chose the Egg Dragoon, but maybe that's just because I'm not a huge Unleashed fan or something. The boss fights are fairly straightforward, with Perfect Chaos's level even feeling like it was ripped straight out of Adventure. Though the boss fight, the Time Eater, is just not a fun boss. For one, I don't like him as a villain since he's basically getting used by Eggman, and unlike the other villains that have been used by Eggman, he doesn't have any personality. Also, the fight just isn't all that fun. Though you also have some rival battles where you fight against Metal Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. These aren't anything to necessarily write home about, but they were pretty fun and it's always great to see them in a game. I especially loved how at the start of Shadow's fight, they recreated scenes from Sonic Adventure 2. I mean, it's just so cool. Oh, I just realized I haven't talked about the story at all, and that's because it's not very good. It's honestly just a reason to have Sonic and Classic Sonic meet up and play through the levels from past games. Basically, it's Sonic's 20th birthday and all his friends are having a party for him, then all of a sudden this monster comes out of nowhere and sucks up all Sonic's friends into different places in time, the levels you'll be playing. And that's practically it. With every level you'll complete you'll save a friend, but they barely say anything until the end where they're just cheering you on.
You've got this, Sonic.
The game goes on to have Classic Sonic and Tails team up with their modern counterparts and defeat Classic and modern Eggman. Everything gets set right in the end, and the Eggmen are sent to wander the void forever. It's such a nothing story that I hesitate to spend much time on it. Would I have loved a story like the two adventure games? Yeah. But the story being so uninteresting isn't too big of a deal for me since I love playing the levels, and the levels themselves don't really need much more than a basic story connecting them anyway. I love how this game looks, the colors are all bright, and all the levels still have the original feel of the original games that they came from. The music is also incredible. I don't know how fair it is to say that this game has my favorite soundtrack in any Sonic game, since it reuses and remixes the best music from the previous games, but I still love it. One of my favorite tracks definitely has to be the Death Egg's boss music. Something about it makes it seem so menacing even though the boss fight is pretty easy. Honestly, the music for all the bosses are great. We get Open Your Heart remixed with Perfect Chaos. And even the Egg Dragoon theme is so amazing that it's my favorite part of that boss fight. During Shadow's rival fight, we also get All Hail Shadow, and it makes me wish we got Crush 40 back to do a new song for Sonic.
Try to get energy cores first this time. Boost to get ahead of him.
The whole vibe of this game can be really amazing at times. Even starting up a level and just playing through it can be so relaxing to me. I do wish we got to hear more of Live and Learn within this game. It's barely in the game, and it's just a normal Live and Learn, though you can't really improve upon perfection. When recording gameplay for this video, I honestly didn't want to stop playing. I think I'll always love this game, and it'll always be my favorite Sonic game, no matter what. There's something about this game that has me coming back no matter how many times I play it. Maybe it's seeing older levels redone in a fun new way, maybe it's the gameplay that feels perfected, or maybe I'm so used to this game that I know whenever I turn it on, I'll have a blast the whole way through. Let me know what you think about Sonic Generations, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day, and goodbye.